Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisman. Shout out ScrapCapper. Thanks, mate. Better late than never. We've got like less than 12 hours, but it's all right. It's been a busy week. Fifth show of the week. I said I'll try to do 5, but we did it. How are you, man?
Yeah, good, man. Like you said, been a bit busy this week, so later than normal, but it's good. Much prefer talking about the UFC to Contender Series, and can probably give people better bets as well. So that's always good.
Well, it was a good week this week, but it doesn't matter because I didn't capitalize anyway. So, all right, we'll try smash this card, make some money. I feel like it's a good betting card, but I'm just a bit behind on tape. I'll try to do a little bit more after this show, but I'll tape like 70%. So let's kick it off, man. Let's kick it off. Let's get into the highest level fight. No, I'm kidding. Rodrigo Sezinando versus Daniil Donchenko. So I said I was going to look into this to see, obviously, Daniil's grappling defense. Right, obviously, Rodrigo's going to grapple. That's all he does ever. And, what's his Ululu fight? The guy that he lost to, that's typical Kyrgyzstani name and face. And I'm like, this guy's a grappler for sure. But Danilo was actually engaging the grappling himself. And he lost that fight because he kept getting hurt and outstruck on the feet. I didn't get a chance to watch the rematch. So I'm still a bit in the dark from, what Danilo's defensive grappling is like. But, man, that fight was years ago. And I'm like, wow, this kid's kind of well-rounded because he took down that Ululu guy and mounted him at one point. I was like, maybe that's why he's the favorite. But, yeah, Ultimate Fighter fights, you can't really take anything away from the 2 fights on the show. Usually there's always a little bit of air of it's whoever can cut weight in like weekly that does the best. And then when they go into the UFC, it's a bit of a different ballgame. So I don't know, man. It's a dog or pass. I'm not really playing Daniil at $1.45. Like, Rodrigo's a good fighter. He's beat good guys on the regionals. So I contemplated some unders, but what do you think about the fight from a betting perspective?
Yeah, like similar thoughts, I guess, but I'll beg my way to some bets on this one. It's tough to read, as you say. Hard to take much from the Ultimate Fighter because, it's just you're in the house cutting weight in really short span of time. Fighting these 2-round fights, they're not with their regular team, completely out of their regular environment, so it just leads to some weird things going on. I try not to put too much stock into them, and I think that's why Sezinando's the side here. Obviously, Donchenko had a couple of pretty good performances in the house, and I think that's why we're seeing him priced the way he is. I think it's a bit wide. He's a good striker, but as you say, has that pretty ugly loss to that Ulu guy. The rematch, he did a better job. He just was able to keep the fight more clean and just keep distance and outstrike him a bit more. But you watch these fights on the regionals, and he doesn't look like this guy who has the touch of death that we saw in the Ultimate Fighter fights. He's going to pretty competitive decisions with these average, like sort of 15 and 10 Kyrgyz level sort of fighters. He's definitely the better striker though, and he's dangerous. He's got experience going 5 rounds and stuff. On the Sezinando side, he's the worst striker, but he's aggressive and he'll throw hard, which I think is the main thing because it gets guys to respect his striking, which then lets him set up his grappling. If you're going to be a grappler in there, you can't fanny around on the feet because if people don't have to worry about his striking at all, it's very hard to shoot naked takedowns. And he's a good grappler, man. Like, he's got good takedowns. He's got good variety of takedowns. Once he gets on top, he's heavy. He knows how to control guys. Good at taking the back, knows how to finish. So, I think he's definitely the side here because we just haven't seen Donchenko really, like, tested in that way, like, put on bottom these Kyrgyz guys that he fights. They're all, like, classic sniffers. They just shoot double leg in the cage and then just try to, like, hold a rear body lock. They're not trying to take the back. They're not trying to chase subs. So I think Sezinando's going to ask enough questions of Donchenko here that the price is wide, I'm sure. And as you said, Donchenko on tape is often happy to engage in grappling himself. He doesn't look serviceable there, but Sezinando's pretty good, man. I think he's pretty solid. I'm on his money line about plus 180, and then it made sense, if that's going to look good, then sub at plus 700 is probably also going to look good. So I took some of that as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I definitely don't feel like this 24-year-old unproven kid is worth the price. Like, even if he gets a knockout, I just don't see it. Like, he definitely didn't have the touch of death on tough. He just brawls, man. He brawls and he's quite hittable too. So we'll see. Not the most interesting fight for betting in my perspective anyway. This fight though, Elise Pereira versus Montserrat Rendon. So I take this one originally long in advance, and I'm like, wow, do I just play this Elise Pereira chick at -200 just because she's got good footwork, she sticks and moves. Obviously, she's fighting cab drivers, but she's fighting 36-year-old soccer mum, Montserrat Rendon, who she just wins split decisions, and what's her best win? Tamara's Vidal via split. So I'm like, I didn't think this was Pereira's sister because I actually know what Pereira's sister looks like. I've faded her on in LFA, but I don't know. There must be something behind this girl. Like, skipped straight past Dana White Contender Series, but she's all right. She looks good. She's tall. But then I take Montserrat Rendon, and it's like, okay, she's kind of got serviceable striking. She sniffs the gloves. She pressures. She kind of pretends like she has head movement left, right, just to close the distance. I don't know. Just one clinch, one reap, takedown. It's this 19-year-old chick's debut, but I was like, yeah, I know despite how much I want to fade Rendon, I know from better judgment, from betting so much in MMA, to avoid a chalky 19-year-old unproven chick in her UFC debut. But the line keeps improving. It went up to $1.72 at one point. I wish I hit that because there was some buyback. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shit show fight. What do you think?
Yeah, mate, I got literally just about the exact same thoughts. Like you come away from the tape thinking the price is probably about right, but all the upside is with Pereira. Like Rendon's best UFC performance is a split over Tamara's Vidal, where Tamara's Vidal basically gives up after a round because she gets tired, starts just panic shooting horrible takedowns and ending up on bottom. So Rendon gets, probably the best hand she could be dealt and just manages to eke a split, right? So you got to think there's very minimal upside at plus 120. Like, I understand people kind of like steamed her around plus 200 where she opened. That I understand. But now at plus 120, it's like very close to a pick and fight. She's just got no upside. She's so slow. She's underwater. And even if she does manage to get takedowns, she lays on top and does nothing, right? So even if she lays on top of Pereira for a few minutes, Pereira can get up, put one good combination together at the end of the round, good chance she steals it. But at the end of the day, same thoughts as you from like a macro sense and from like a wider sort of, spending this much time betting, just, laying juice on a debutante in their debut where she's only fought cab drivers and there's still a lot of unknowns. It's just, not something I can get to, especially when there's like plenty of other spots that I like on the card. So happy to pass. If it comes in further to like an actual pick'em, then maybe I'll take another look, maybe a small bet to win half a unit on Pereira or something like that. But I'm happy staying out at the moment. To be honest, though, I don't hate the over at -250. I think, Rendon finishing, very unlikely. If you're not finishing Vidal, like, I'm kind of skeptical you can finish anyone at the UFC level. And she's tough as well. So even if Pereira lands a bunch, I don't think she's likely to knock Rendon out. So that's kind of one that I don't mind. I think -250, I think there actually could be some value there on the over.
Yeah, my friend played go the distance at a bit better price. That was probably the play. It's a bit more chalky. Like, I don't expect anyone to finish, but I just have a sneaky feeling like maybe Pereira can. You never know. 19 years old. She kind of reminds me of that. I don't even know if you watched Contender Series this week. There was like a 21-year-old Brazilian that was like crashing cab drivers for Demo Fight Series, training with Jalton Almeida, and he was going to decisions, and then he just ran through Chase and Blair, like put him out cold in the first round. It's like,
if there's anyone that makes crazy improvements off tape, it's these young Brazilians with like crazy, massive frames that pack on muscle. Like Melissa Gato, she was like a armbar girl, and then she just came back and
she looked nothing like her tape, man. Like her regional tape, nothing at all. It's crazy.
Punching Tamara's Vidal in the titty and knocking her out.
Bro, Rendon actually punched her in the titty too, and she asked for a break.
Yeah, that's what she gave up. Yeah, she gave up after that, and then Rendon still couldn't finish her. So, that's why I'm pretty low on her here at the current line, at least. Alrighty, let's move on. Alessandro Costa versus Aiden Coria. It's not Aiden. I keep saying Aiden, but it's Alden. Doesn't look like he looks like an Aiden more than an Alden. Anyway, dog past me, man. Like, I don't think really Costa is someone that warrants this kind of line. Coria is
he's a bit of a prospect. 27. I think he could have easily been on Dana White Contender Series and been the A side. He's the Fury FC champion, knocked out Paris Moran. It was a no contest because of weed, I'm pretty sure, but I mean the kid's good. Had some red flags on LFA. Lost to Alberto Trujillo, which Trujillo, we both love betting on that guy, and he's just a really good underdog. Just cardio, durability, volume. He lost to Joseph Camacho on LFA. I remember him. That's like 3 years ago, and what is he? He was 24. He's kind of gotten a bit better, but that's what you expect. So it's a dog or pass. I don't have a strong lean. I also consider the under, but I see some of my sharp friends liking the over. So, I mean, it's a pick 'em. It makes sense that people are split. What do you think?
Yeah, similar thoughts, but I guess maybe a bit more sort of conviction. I like Coria. Plus 300 or better is just so clearly wide to me. Costa's not a guy who's in the business of covering minus 400 price tags. I mean, I think it's just a case of recency bias, really, with the win over Borjas being as dominant as it was. And that was just, I remember a lot of people were liking Borjas before that, and I didn't even necessarily think it was that bad a bet. It just turned out, for whatever reason, Borjas just had never seen a calf kick in his life. And then even once he started calf kicking, just refused to do anything about it. Wouldn't try to check, wouldn't switch stance. He just, just kept getting his leg kicked off for whatever reason. These Peruvian guys aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. But yeah, when you watch Costa, as I said, he's just not a minus 400 guy. On the feet, he has power, but he is extremely shallow. He's extremely basic. He basically just swings hooks. He either waits for his opponent to engage and bring the pocket to him, and he just swings hooks, left, right, or he decides he's going to close distance. He just puts his head down, bum rushes in a straight line, and swings hooks, left, right. Guy doesn't know what a straight punch is. His defense is just the glove sniffing, Mexican style, put the gloves up. It's very obvious that he trains with Diego Lopes in that camp, because they all have the same issues. Like, their defense is just boxing high guard. They have no footwork. They don't know how to track people who can move side to side on the outside. They plod around them. They don't know how to cut off the cage properly. And then in terms of the grappling, he has decent jiu-jitsu. He's got some opportunistic subs, but again, like Diego Lopes, his wrestling's pretty shit. His striking and wrestling aren't connected at all. He doesn't know how to use his striking to set up his wrestling. So, I don't even think he's barely taken anyone down in the UFC. It all leads to him just being a really bad minute winner. He's very easy to out-volume on the outside, and he's not really going to shoot takedowns. Coria, on the other hand, longer, faster, knows how to move on the outside, has good boxing, punches straight. And also, if you do get into the pocket, the guy has good eyes. He knows how to find shots in the pocket. As you said, the Paris Moran win's a really nice one. Honestly, I think Paris Moran would have a chance to beat Costa as well, because he's just another guy who has good process, good volume, well-rounded, that sort of thing. And he's got good strength of schedule for a guy, making his UFC debut. He's fought good guys in the LFA. He's fought some good guys in Fury. As you say, Costa's best guy he's fought is matched now. Otherwise, he's fighting the likes of Borjas and Jimmy Flick. He's going to a split decision with that, terrible Combate guy on Contender Series. He's going the distance, having competitive decisions with jobbers on Lux before he got to Contender Series. So there's just no argument for minus 400 to me. So I like Coria money line. I played plus 320. I like Coria decision. I played plus 1050, which is just insane to me. I played Coria decision only, plus 420. If it goes a distance, Coria could be favorite, maybe Costa's hurting him along the way, but plus 420, less than 20% chance if this hits the cards. That's just mental. And then to your point about the total, I probably prefer the over to the under. I think Coria's tough. So is Costa, to be fair, and Coria's not a massive hitter. He's a nice slick boxer. He's sharp, but he's not like a nuclear hitter or anything, and it's flyweights. I think overs and GTT, especially plus money evens sort of thing, is the side as well.
You don't think Costa's a bit chinny?
Yeah, I mean, he is a little bit. We see him get hurt and stuff, but
the Albazi fight was a huge red flag, man. It's 3 knockdowns before the KO.
Yeah, Yeah, that fight's not a good look, and Usyk buzzed him as well. But it's flyweights at the end of the day, man. And I don't think Coria is like a massive puncher. If we were talking about an under that was like plus 150, then yeah, I'd probably say the under's the side, you know. But just at the price, if you give me a slight plus on the over, I'd probably slightly favour it to go over.
Yeah, nice.
Also, I'm not sure how much finishing equity Costa has, you know, if he's not doing what he did to Borjas. And I just don't rate a grappling finish, really, because he, you know, it's pretty much him jumping on a guillotine or something.
Yeah, I think if a grappling finish comes, it's probably Costa, because he's the jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I was just wondering. I don't have a strong take. As I said, I see you're another person that's on the over there. So, alrighty. Zachary Reese, Cedricus Dumas. Pretty over this Dumas guy. I don't know why they've given him so many chances. He's not even a good fighter, man. Now that that crazy case in America happened with that guy that killed that chick, it's been out of prison 14 times. He's kind of, when I look at Dumas, he reminds me of that. And it's like, it's not funny anymore. The jokes, it's just like, they just keep letting this dude out, and he's fighting in the UFC. Anyway, he's got $13 in his bank account. That's the narrative, whatever that means. Apparently, he's going to win this fight because of that. So yeah, honestly, this, I contemplated Zachary Reese money line because I don't think he's that bad. Honestly, people have been trying to shit on Zachary Reese for a while. That Dusko fight, he showed me that he's so wiry and strong. Like, Dusko had a good guillotine, and he's only a purple belt as far as I remember. And I'm like, man, he's a tough guy to sub. Like, he has solid enough jiu-jitsu. Dusko's been a black belt for a while. And obviously he's training with Strickland now. He says he's getting good looks. The only reason I wouldn't really play the money line is because he's a little bit chinny. And Dumas, we haven't really seen the knockout upside in a while. Probably not once in the UFC. But he swings, man. He swings. And, hopefully he comes out here and swinging today in this fight because he needs it. So I would rather play the under. Now, the over took some action. The under is like trending towards pick'em, which is crazy to me. I think it strongly correlates with Zachary Reese, and I think you have a little bit of Dumas upside as well. I think Reese can knock him out. I think Reese can sub him, and I think Dumas can potentially knock him out as well. I think Reese is quite chinny to me. Even there was a point where Jose Medina hit him in round 2 once, and he hated it. He had an overhand right, and he's like, he backed up against the cage and he shot a takedown, and I was like, wow, he did not look like obviously Dusko almost stole the fight with a couple of overhand rights in round 3 as well. Like, he really seems to hate the power. And obviously fucking Brundage deaded him with a slam, and Bukayev knocked him out with ground and pound from guard, which you never see in MMA. It's just definitely some chin issues there. So yeah, under 1.5 for me. I was like, do I need to do some more tape before I lock it in? But I feel like I think this is like a no-brainer. Like, why am I overthinking it? Right? What do you think, my friend?
Yeah, again, man, pretty similar thoughts. I don't want to miss what might be the last Dumas fade. Like, this guy's just complete dog shit. And he's clearly not had the chance to train properly. Even when he does train properly, he's still terrible. So it doesn't really matter too much. Like you, I actually think Reese is decent. When he first came into the UFC, he'd just completely unproven outside being a round 1 can crusher. And then he got slammed by Brundage. But since then, like in these extended fights with Dusko and stuff, I think, he's shown a bit. I don't think his cardio's necessarily terrible. He just wasn't really familiar with, he just hadn't had extended fights. So he was still just kind of learning how to pace himself and how to fight long. In terms of his actual fitness, I think he's fine. I don't think Dumas is really going to take advantage of Reese's weaknesses because he's shit at takedowns. His wrestling's garbage. He gasses out horribly. And on the feet, it's weird. He was hurting guys on the regionals, and he hurt Martinez on Contender Series. But as you say, he's looked largely harmless in the UFC. So I'm not.
What a meme that Martinez result might be one of the biggest memes we've ever seen. That's probably the best guy he will ever be in his life, and he's going to keep aging gracefully.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of betting, like you said, contemplated Reese money line. I have as well, honestly, because when the price is better than 70%, I think you've got at least a 5% edge there. I have no issues lining Zach Reese at 75-80% here. But as you say, the under probably makes a bit more sense. Price is better. You get more of the upside, right, as well. Like, I think Reese should get after him pretty early. Like you said, he can hurt him on the feet and either put him away or he can sub him, and Dumas does panic shoot these horrible takedowns with his head down. So yeah, I can definitely see Zach Reese wrapping him up in a guillotine. Or yeah, club subbing him or something. It's, I don't want to pick between a KO and a sub, but ultimately the angles I like. Yeah, I think Zach Reese money line. I think there's some value there, even at a bit of a steep price. I think the under's good. I took -145, and yeah, it's just about back where I bet it. I'm pretty confused by Oversteam, to be honest. So I might be looking to add to that. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know whether I just want to add to the under, or if I maybe want to mix a bit of Reese money line and the under. I think they both hit, to be honest. And then there's other angles out there as well. Like you can play Zach Reese 1-2. You can get like -120 on that sort of thing if you wanted to get like all of the round 2 equity for Reese, and you're not too worried about a Dumas finish, which personally I'm not. So I just kind of need to figure out how I want to sort of add to the rest of that, whether it's on the under or Reese money line. Probably Reese money line, to be honest. Makes the most sense.
Yeah. I'm just trying to play it safe, just in case there's another meme from Dumas, but yeah, we'll see. The under
Dumas might like kill clock. He might be able to push on the cage and kill some clock or something. Like Reese can be, held on the cage a little bit, but Dumas is terrible, man.
No, honestly, I give Dumas like 0 decision equity. I feel like it's going to have to be like a meme finish, because all these fights that are getting extended, like against Azaitan and like Dennis Tululian, like these guys are awful, man. And he's just like, he's dropping rounds to these dudes. So he's like, I don't give him. If it's going to happen, it's going to be a Panaz repeat, like a meme fucking overhand right or some shit. Like he's just going to go out there scrapping. Yeah. So that's why I'm considering money line.
Yeah.
All right. I'm definitely going to play this under, man. Like I'm really surprised by this Oversteam. It's quite crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I kind of wanted the under to get steam so I could just play Reese money line instead and not think about it. But now that the underprice keeps coming in, it's like,
Well, it's a sign, mate. All right. Jesus Aguilar, Luis Garul. I didn't take this fight. I wanted to because I felt like it's a dog or pass. But again, some sharp lads are laying the Garul chalk, which is interesting because before the Ode Osborne fight, people were telling me he's not that good. I had 3 units on him. Didn't work out. When Ode lost round 1, I'm like, should be cakewalk from here. But Ode's good, man. He's probably the worst guy in the UFC. It's a bit unfortunate just to not have a little bit more wins. But yeah, I think these guys they're both short. Like, there's not much difference in reach, which there usually is a massive reach disadvantage for Aguilar. Like, the rule's been dropped a bunch. He's been dropped against Jacob Silva, right? Like, I played him against Nick Pinciini, and Pinciini fight, like, it's not aging the greatest because Nick he barely won as a -1,000 favorite in Fury FC. He's a bit overrated, man. Just like a one-dimensional wrestler. But yeah, obviously got sparked by Ode. But I don't know. It's pre-tape. Like, I haven't done a lick of tape. It's a dog or pass. But I know Aguilar well. I played him in Contender Series. I played him a bunch of times. Played a bunch of unders that burned me money, just because I think he's always live to either get subbed or sub someone himself. So yeah, don't know. I haven't got around to it. You can tell me what you've seen.
Yeah, feel sort of similarly again. I guess I could kind of understand people betting Garuli early when he was, I think it was like a lot of people bet him like -160 or something like that. He's out at -200 now, and to me that's definitely a no-go. Just because the matchup, I like Garul. He's, been a bit of a cash cow on the regionals. And I think he is the better fighter here, but I just don't think he's going to put enough margin on this to mean that you can bet him at -200. He's the better striker, but Aguilar he just swings and he finds ways to compete on just being scrappy and just being able to fight super hard for all 3 rounds. And he's very durable. You kind of got to finish him on the mat like Tyra did, and that's not really Garul's game. He's not really a big submission guy. I think it plays out pretty competitively. Garul's cleaner everywhere, but Aguilar just finds ways to compete, on the feet. He's just chucks super hard punches. He's going to have big moments. On the ground, he's just going to jump on sub attempts opportunistically. Ultimately, I think Garul will win because Aguilar puts himself in such bad positions consistently. And on the feet, he can't really throw more than 1 or 2 punches at a time without like just about falling over himself. But it keeps him in fights. He fights close because of it. The angle I like for this one goes a distance. I took minus 140 or around there. Garul's kind of like an attritional guy who has to like break guys down. He's not really like one punching guys. Aguilar is just super tough, super durable, great cardio. To be honest, I think the main finish risk is Garul sticking his head in the guillotine. Aguilar hits hard as well, like obviously bombed out Shannon Ross in that, but Garul's also durable. Both guys hittable. Both guys can be like hurt, but I think they both have good durability, good recoverability. But ultimately, I think this goes to decision closer to like 65, high 60s, even 70%. Again, they are flyweights at the end of the day. So yeah, I thought getting goes a distance better than 60% was value. So that's my spot for this fight.
Good stuff. Yeah, Garul was just a bit of a traditional nothing burger. I think Aguilar's insanely durable. That guy's just got an insane heart. It's a bit stupid though.
Yeah, I think Garul was just able to, like, he's just got such better hardware than these regional guys. He just breaks them down. But getting to the UFC, like we saw versus Ode, a different level of athlete, I think he's going to kind of run into some issues in the UFC. Although I like him, he's skilled, he's good everywhere, but it's just the way he was winning was kind of reliant on his athleticism, and he's pretty small as well. So yeah, I think it might be a bit tough for the UFC.
Yeah. Let's do some comments. I haven't shouted at anyone. Shout out Shady. I'm watching tape till 6 a.m. Got 4 more hours. Well, this card is 6 a.m. Australia time, which is interesting. I'm on the... I don't mind this bet. Pereira decision. Pereira round 3 or decision. Is that meant to be plus 130? That's not bad.
Yeah, you just take the money line, don't you? When it's plus 130 versus minus 135, 140.
Yeah, it's about 60 cents, but I don't know. I guess. Breaking Bad. Yeah, falling asleep to that sexy Australian voice, mate. That's a Kiwi accent, mate. It's a Kiwi accent.
And he's talking about you, not me.
Yeah, he just ruined the joke. That's right. All right, Shady might have to throw the small 20 on the dog scrap. Yeah, I think he's talking about Coria decision. I mean, at that price, man, that's a crazy number. That's going to take a little bit of money. 6 rounds, go the distance. Garul not super dangerous, so he agrees with you. He's wrong about this, right? The one guy to not hurt Nick Pinciini, he hurt him in the first round, mate. He hurt him. It was like knocking his head about in round 1. I remember loving that bet. I locked it in right before the fight started. I was like, hell yeah. And then Pinciini worked his way back into it and it ended up being a split decision. I was like, shit. Blom Dog, shout out. Shout out Blom Dog. Alrighty. Tatiana Suarez, Amanda Lemos. Weird that this fight is on the prelims. It just feels like a pay-per-view main card fight. But, oh well, who cares? I thought I would like the under here pre-tape. I was like, Amanda Lemos, the chick that gets subbed by standing arm triangle. And then I just taped Lemos and, I taped Suarez and I'm like, she's kind of a jump on the guillotine merchant. She's got a couple of rear naked chokes back in the day and she loves the DAS and she used to have aggressive ground and pound, but she's not the same girl, man. 34 years old. I maintain that she's looked a bit washed even before the Weili Zhang fight. Like some of these fights, obviously, she got injured halfway through the fight against Nina Nunes, and I don't think she looked too amazing against both De La Rosa or Jessica Andrade. It was a competitive fight, and she just jumped on the guillotine and locked it in. It worked out, but I think if that fight went into round 3, it could have been a bit sweaty for her because she was having trouble holding Andrade down. And just getting muscled around by Weili Zhang, eating big overhand rights consistently. She showed that at least she's durable, she's tough, she can go 5 rounds, and she pulled out twice before the Weili Zhang fight. I didn't really think it was the smartest thing to give her a title shot after 2 back-to-back withdrawals from injuries. So I don't know how washed she is. So I guess Amanda has a puncher's chance, I will say, but she's still not the hardest chick to take down. She's still going for guillotines. The first thing she did against Verna is jump a guillotine. It's like, if there's one girl you're not going to guillotine in the entire UFC, it's Verna Jandiroba. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, do you not have any sort of game plan going into this fight? Like, that's not pulling a guillotine. But she did all right. She reversed a couple of positions. Well, she did that to Tatiana. Maybe it's possible. It's a weird fight, man. Weird fight. I'm not really interested in anything here. The under at minus money, it's kind of like disgusting. At that point, I'd rather maybe play Tatiana sub, get really specific with it. Parky, as you know, the boy Parky likes the over at plus money. I can see it, I guess. I can see Tatiana, like, very, very durable. She just went 5 rounds with Weili. Lemos showed incredible heart versus Weili as well. Like, how much shit she ate in that fight, man. Like, getting dropped, getting mounted, ground and pounded. The ref was about to stop him multiple times. She just kept moving, refusing to get knocked out. So, I don't know, man. I'm not, at the moment, not interested in anything. What about you?
Yeah, again, like similar thoughts, but I've gotten to a bit. Obviously, money line, can't play Suarez. I'm not really interested in Lemos against the grappler. She, against girls who can actually wrestle, take her down. I think she's very KO1 reliant. As you say, her decision making in the grappling is just so bad. And she doesn't learn, like she loses to these girls getting out grappled, and then, as you say, Berna Genderova's shooting on her and she's jumping guillotine. So to me, she trains at like a small Brazilian gym. She just doesn't know how to like properly defend takedowns. She just does jiu-jitsu. And then once she's on the bottom, she's a flake on the bottom, basically. Like she starts panicking, making really bad decisions, just trying to explode out of there, gives her back, that sort of thing. So on the Tatiana side, yeah, I agree with you. I thought she looked shit when she came back from her injury against Montana and Andrade. Like, anyone will remember, like, people were just hyping her up, saying, like, oh, she's the truth. She was so obviously not the same fighter. She very, very clearly, like, lost in athletic gear. It's a bit slow, a bit clunky. But she's extremely tough. She's extremely durable. Like, dude, she took an absolute beating off Weili. So as soon as I sort of watched that fight back, I lost all interest in Lemos, any sort of Lemos angle, because I don't think she really has any decision equity. I think she needs to hurt Suarez early and get her out of there, because once Suarez, gets to her first takedown, gets to the wrestling, she's going to know that she can keep going to it. Even against Weili, man, she got the absolute shit beaten out of her, and she was still trying all 5 rounds. And once you get Lemos down once, the next one comes even easier, and her volume just disappears because she gets so scared of the takedown, and she just starts backing up, not throwing, and just continues to make bad decisions. So, yeah, I didn't like the under at minus money because I'm just not in the business of betting women's fights to go under at juice, especially when I think Lemos's equity is pretty thin. Suarez sub price, couldn't really get there, like plus 140-ish. I was like, there might be some value there, but price was kind of gross. I ended up taking Suarez sub 2-3 at like plus 350. So that's the angle I've gone for, just because, it could be a bit scary. Lemos is so dangerous early. Suarez might take her time sort of trying to get in on that first takedown. And even if she does ground her, Lemos might be able to survive on the mat for the first round. But yeah, the way Lemos just kind of falls apart and makes such bad decisions and flakes out as the fight continues, I think Suarez is going to probably guillotine her. As you say, I think she's never really got a guillotine in a rear naked choke. I agree, Suarez is like really regressed, and I'm not impressed. Like, his striking's terrible. Even her takedowns are pretty slow and clunky, but once she gets in and gets connected, she's still very strong. And Lemos is just a flake. She's probably going to give the sub, I think. So, yeah, might be another chance to possibly fade Suarez after this, but I think she's all right here.
Yeah, as before you started breaking down Chef Red Cloud, Tatiana sub 2-3, and I was like, that's a bit obvious, but it kind of makes sense, right? So, and then you just mentioned it. It's usually 2-3 for her. Mostly 2, right? Andrade 2, Montana La Rosa 2. Kind of when it gets into that round 3, I mean, she got Carlos Praza out of there, but that was a different, the cardio and the ground and pound.
That's when she was like the real deal, but yeah, she's clearly not that same fighter anymore. Is she?
She looked like a female Khabib. It's insane. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to my official one and only play of the card, and it's Neto BJJ at a worst possible available line. It's a good start. It's I hate locking in bets early in the week. This is why I never do this shit. I just thought this line was going to get even more steamed, and then I guess people see something in Claudio Puelles' tape to say that he should be the favorite over Silva. The guy that's almost knocking out Sarukian and giving everyone a tough fight. But I think for me this fight is a good matchup in Faraz Ziam, a guy that's really tall and has good standing defense, but he has no hips. And just Puelles was just double legging him over and over again, like even when gassed. And it just looks like a good performance because he went to split, but technically I could realistically see 30-27 for Xian based on damage because he just kept getting out of bad positions and landing on the ground and pound. Once Puelles takes you down, gets on your back and loses control, he just seemed to be out of ideas. And that's how he's been fighting for a while. He's weak to the body as well. And I mentioned on my early teas, this is the under that's cashing. I'm gonna have to add again, like whether it's a mean KO by Puelles, whether it's the second time Silva's been submitted. The one and only time he's been submitted was by Gianco Franca in Ultimate Fighter. That guy was on like an insane run. He rear naked choked Nicolas Mota there as well, and then Neto BJJ and Franco's an animal. Yeah, and he's like he went to PFL and was like rear naked choking everyone as well after the UFC cut him. And if that's the second time he gets submitted, so be it. But then Puelles is weak to the body, man. I think he can be knocked out to the head as well. Bravo knocked him out to the body back in the day. I mean, Dan Hooker teeped him, killed him. I think he get knocked out to the head. I think he can be guillotined as well. Like Silva just keeps going for it. Like he almost ripped off Guida's head. He almost ripped out Drakkar Klose's head with the guillotine. Don't know how he didn't get knocked out there with the slam. Like Klose, that was crazy. Landed on his head. I just think it's like he hits like a truck still. I don't know if Puelles can survive that onslaught. So I might go that doesn't go as well. But the fight does seem like a bit of a shit show, especially when I get reversed. It doesn't really happen often just because I wait, I'm patient, and then I usually get a better line. I jumped the gun a bit here, so it's like I know what I'm getting myself into with Silva, right? I've watched him get like ragdolled by Jared Gordon back in the day, had to come back and win. I watched him get knocked out by Ricky Glenn in one round. It's just of all people. So I know the guy's chinny, he's old, he's like low output, but yeah, I'll definitely want to have 900, like 1.5 units. That's irresponsible. I will have maybe 1 unit, but the another player that I'll have is doesn't go just because Neto BJJ has 2 finishes over the 2.5 minute mark. Could be like a late KO or something. So, what about you?
Yeah, I guess again, I kind of see it a similar way, but the way I'm approaching it betting wise is a bit different. So yeah, in terms of the money line, I think it does kind of make a bit of sense. Like Puelles is, as you said, like I'm a massive Puelles hater, man. Like that Dan Hooker spot was ridiculous. Made good money on that. He's, I don't know how to say it. Like he's a bit of a coward, isn't he? Like he doesn't have any interest in actually fighting. He just wants to shoot a takedown and lay on you, take you back. I think his submission skills are vastly overrated. He's just knee-barred some guys who have no jiu-jitsu, like, Clay Guida and Gritzmarker, these old, dusty guys who just have never, been hard to sub. Standing, he's pretty harmless as well. But yeah, cardio's terrible, as we know. Terrible nail. He flakes out. He's happy. Like, I think, as in Xian, he, pulled guard off a takedown in round 1. It's like the first round, and he was already, pulling guard off failed takedowns. So yeah, man, the guy's a wimp. He's not built for it. He's a guy who should be doing grappling, really. But the reason I can understand making him a favorite is because Silva's old, as you say. His cardio is not good. His output is terrible. He has a really hard time landing strikes. He kind of needs you to get in the pocket with him so he can land a hard shot. And that's not what Puelles is looking to do. Puelles isn't looking to stand in front of you and trade very much. Silva's takedown defense has improved a lot, especially since he's been at ATT. He's very hard to take down against the cage, but out in open space, he can be put down, and he does close guard in open space, which is kind of what worries me here, because Puelles will shoot out in space. He'll shoot that head outside single, try run the pipe. So if he's able to get Silva down in open space, I do think he can probably rack up a fair bit of top time, just because if Silva doesn't have a wall behind him to prop himself up, he's very happy to sort of go like jiu-jitsu mode off bottom, which, yeah, I don't love. Also goes for the guillotine, as you said, which may be there because Puelles shoots with his head on the outside and he can start shooting with his head pretty low, especially once he gets tired. So guillotine's definitely live, but then at the same time, it means that Silva might flub it and end up on bottom instead of getting up. So in terms of betting for this fight, I've sort of made a few plays. The ones I like at current lines, which you can still get. Silva sub, crazy price, better than 10-1 against a guy who's just going to probably keep shooting a bunch of takedowns. he does lose position, so he's probably going to have to be shooting like multiple takedowns around, which means Silva's going to have plenty of chances. Puelles is also gassy. He's a quitter. Like, you know, if the fight gets hard, he doesn't really want to be in there anymore. So if Silva's able to wrap up a guillotine, then, you know, he might be able to get him out of there. Potential he can club and sub him as well. Puelles is just going to be panic shooting probably most of the fight. So I like that. Better than 10-1 is just nuts. I think sub's more likely than KO just because Puelles isn't like fragile or chinny. He's just like a bit of a wimp. And then the other one, you can get Silva, no scorecards at plus money. Bit riskier, that one. It's not impossible. Puelles means to finish because Silva's a bit chinny. He's old. But Puelles just doesn't really throw too many meaningful strikes. He's kind of just like a left body kick. Doesn't have any hands. I guess maybe a left high kick is possible. Maybe he lands something there. And then early on, I actually took the over. I got it like really early. It was like plus 150 because basically my thought was I'll play the over and then Silva finish stuff, and that sort of covers things, you know, because I'm happy to fade a Puelles finish here. I think if Puelles wins, it's probably a decision. At current lines, I guess I understand betting the under, but again, I just don't enjoy betting unders when I don't really give one guy a proper like finishing chance. It's when it's like, oh, you know, he needs a bit of a meme. So I'd rather just bet Silva finish stuff. I don't know if I touch the money line. Silva's not a guy I like to back because, yeah, just shit output and might get stuck on bottom. So, yeah, current lines, I think the Silva sub especially is really good. Maybe Silva no scorecards if you like that. And if you like the Puelles side, I think Puelles decision at like you can get like plus 250. You know, I think it's far more likely he wins by decision than finish. I think, you know, I bet Puelles decision plus 250 well before I touch his money line at juice here. So, yeah, I guess that's how I feel about the fight.
Nice. Yeah, if I didn't have money line, I would, and obviously that doesn't go, I would probably play Silva 2-3. But that's what I'm thinking the most likely finish upside comes. All right. Medina versus Dusko. Look, Dusko should win this fight. Let's be honest. I missed out on early numbers because I'm just like I know Dusko well. I'm Serbian. It's like I just can't. It wouldn't be the most depressing thing for him to lose to Jose Medina out of all people. But the more I look into it, I'm like Medina doesn't have really anything that Dusko struggled with in the past. Doesn't have power. Doesn't have athleticism. He might not be the easiest guy to take down, and he kind of has get-ups. But I mean, there's a level in terms of jiu-jitsu, and Dushko's ground and pound is insane, and Medina's cardio is not amazing either. So just got rinsed by Zachary Reese, like a guy that went to decision for the first time in 30-27, Jose Medina. So it just doesn't have skills anyway. He literally doesn't have a skill anyway. So yeah, Dusko should win. I'm still looking at ways to play this. I don't really like the under. It is plus money, so it's kind of tempting. Dusko has traditionally gone over many times, even against Jordan Wright, of all people. So yeah, it's kind of maybe like Dusko 2-3. I'm thinking maybe just doesn't go. But yeah, I don't think Medina's going to get close to finishing Dusko after Zachary Reese couldn't. So yeah, just, I don't know, maybe you can give me a way to bet it other than freaking parlaying Dusko or something.
Yeah, again, like same sort of thoughts. Money line, no interest, because if you bet Dusko at minus 450, you deserve, bankruptcy. Not interested in betting on Medina ever, because as you say, like all the guy does, he's an exister.
Really?
Against guys you can't delete him, he's an exister. Dusko though he's so regressed, man. He looks so bad these days. Like I think the ACL injuries and stuff like have just really taken a toll. His striking is terrible. Like he's just like can't throw two punches without like falling out of stance, chin up in the air. His wrestling looks really bad. Like his takedowns look terrible. He's just like pushing these body locks against the cage. Doesn't really seem to know how to like finish takedowns. Yeah, physicality looks really regressed. Haven't really seen him be able to get on top of anyone. Yeah, I guess Reese for a little bit. But obviously Reese has actually got jiu-jitsu. Medina's 0. So ultimately, I think Dusko does win. But I think he's going to look really unimpressive in doing it. I think he's just going to win off maybe getting some takedowns where he doesn't do too much with them, but just racks up some control time, pushes them on the cage. Honestly, Medina slows down, but man, Dusko's cardio looks really bad these days as well. I think the best way to play this at current lines, if you can get the Dusko plus over 1.5, that's like almost pick him. I think that's the way it goes. I actually don't even know if I rate a Dusko finish late because of how bad his cardio looks. Like, I'm not even sure he can get takedowns later in the fight because he slows down so badly, and Medina does have get-ups. So, yeah, I think Dusko probably actually drags him to a decision if I had to guess, but the price on that is obviously terrible. You don't bet that. Yeah, man, like Dusko's gone over with Jordan Wright. Dusko's gone over with fucking Quang Townsend, and that's when he was looking a lot better than he does these days. I think, sadly, the guy's just completely shot to bits. I do think he'll win here just because he'll get the difference is going to be the control time and maybe completing some takedowns. Maybe he does advance position and get Medina out of there, but man, I don't know. I don't think Dusko's very good. The grappling versus Reese was just like pitiful. Honestly, it was really, really bad. So I got on the over early at like minus 130 or something like that. Then it got absolutely steamed out to where it is now. But I think you could probably bet Dusko plus over 1.5 small. If you don't like that, maybe you just sprinkle Dusko late finish if you like that. But man, I'm not super convicted this guy gets Medina out of there.
I don't like it either now that I was thinking about it. The reason he usually finishes these guys late, like 2-3, is because he can't really hit a takedown in round one. Like as you said, his wrestling is shithouse. It's like the first takedown he gets, it's like straight to mount, and his ground and pound is really good. He's even lucky that Marky Pitello went for a guillotine on him, and then he ended up on top. But I don't think he was going to take Marky Pitello down. But all these guys have good athleticism, even like Townsend. But Jose Medina, I think it should be much easier for him to get on Medina's hips. But yeah, again, trusting him to finish him.
Yeah. Problem is Dusko just slows down so much himself now. Like Dusko evolved, still put it on guys in 2-3, but he's just.
Do you think he doesn't really slow down other than the Zachary Reese fight? Like other fights is 2-3 is better rounds. So, but that was
how many he gone to 2-3 recently though, right? Like it's been years since he's like actually extended someone, put him out, and he's like just been getting knocked out and blowing out his ACL since then. So I think
that's probably why he's a bit shop worn and a bit dusty. But that was quite a high paced fight as well. He went for 3-4 guillotines in that one, and then a lot of scrambling. But
it was.
But he didn't really preserve his energy at all in that round one. That was like 30 seconds in, shot for a ghillie.
And his grappling was just terrible there, man. Just the way he was like going for the guillotine, and like there's a few times where he was like going for it, but the cage was in the way, and it was just so obvious that it wasn't going to work.
He was forcing it. He was definitely forcing it.
The decision making was really bad. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Look, I envision that this fight should be 2-3 levels at a slower pace than the Zachary Reese fight. You would think. I know people think Jose Medina is this Terminator, but he's just gonna be fucking stuck in the mud, plotting, like laughing at Dusko. Like it's levels, man.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think the main thing is Medina's tough, man. I think that's the main thing. I think that's going to be enough to probably go late here because the way Dusko's losing these days, like I think Medina's just going to weasel away to stay alive.
Yeah, I thought about going the distance, but you said it was shit, so.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I was expecting like plus 150 at least, but no, it's dreadful.
It's actually not that bad, man. Fight to go to the decision is almost plus money.
Yeah. That's not terrible. Yeah, I honestly don't mind that. I'd want plus money. I'm happy because I got the over 1.5 at like minus 130, so I'm just going to stick with that. And I would probably take the Dusko and over 1.5. But if I had to go the distance myself, I'd probably make it more like 60, because even though Dusko's shot to bits, like Medina's harmless. I think Dusko's actually really going to struggle to get a finish himself because he's also shot. I think it's just going to be like a shitty old man washed fight, to be honest.
Funny, Dusko's only 31. It's crazy. Younger than me. All right, we're just on the main card now. Let's see if we can smash through them because we're about an hour in. So Santiago Luna, Quang Li, bit of a weird Fury FC main event fight. I don't mind Luna. I know he's fought a lot of cans. He's fought this Russian guy that I remember from regionals. Let me just have a look what his name is. Magomed Bayudaev. I think I I bet him in LFA. Other than that, not the best level of competition, but it's good. He passes the eye test. Like, he looks all right to me. Seems to be dangerous on the feet. Has a good submissions. I don't think Quang Lee's proven much better than him, but yeah, it's a weird fight. It makes sense that it's competitive on the line. I honestly like the doesn't go here. I mean, Luna's finished everyone. Quang Lee has some underrated pop on the feet. Quang Lee's Luna's hittable. Quang Lee also knocked out by freaking Long Zhao of all people. He's got some submission upside. I don't know. I haven't gone too in depth, but that's the first thing that stuck out to me. I think they both have KO and they both have submission upside. What do you think?
Yeah, again, same thoughts, but different betting angle. In terms of money line, yeah, if Luna was on full camp, I would bet him minus 135. But yeah, just a really short notice, and he hasn't been in camp for a different, another fight is what's keeping me off. And he does fight like a very energy-intensive style, and we have seen him slow down on full camp. Although I will say he pushes through really well. Like, I went into tape thinking, it's going to be one of these round one can crusher kind of guys. But I was actually pretty impressed, especially given the fact he's only 21. I think he's a decent prospect. Like, throws hard, comes from a grappling background, so he's got like good wrestling. And even though he's got a bunch of subs, I think his jiu-jitsu is actually like the worst part of his game. He's just subbing Mexican cab drivers. Like, he gets guys down, but then he's pretty sloppy once he does, to be honest. I don't think he's going to control many good people on the ground. But yeah, on the other side, Lee, a bit more experienced, but against, I guess, he's fought better guys, I guess, just because he's had a couple of UFC fights, but he was just fighting total jobbers in the LFA as well. The bit, I also like, I kind of am thinking about violence here, but I took Ends KO plus 240 just because I think most of the finisher upside is in a KO. Obviously, both guys are going to bang early. I favor Luna because he's more durable, and I think he's, just more athletic, probably hits a bit harder. Seen him take some decent shots on tape, but then obviously he's on such short notice that he could slow down, and then, possible that Quang finds a KO later on. Overall, I probably think it's a Luna KO, though. Quang's really square, really hittable, and, kind of fights pretty recklessly despite that. So, yeah, I think it's probably a Luna KO. I saw Luna KO at like plus 350, plus 400 sort of range. Ultimately decided I'd rather get equity for both guys, take Ends KO plus 240 instead. So, yeah, that's where I've ended up.
Nice. I guess kind of goes along with my doesn't go the distance, right?
You know what? I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to betting like unders doesn't go the distance, so I'm going to probably go smaller bet on a big number. Yeah,
I mean, I do the same thing. Depends on how confident I am, Like, I might just, instead of going doesn't go or the under 1.5 on Reese, I might just go Reese sub, or Reese KO or Reese round one, because neither of us give Dumas much of an upside. But we'll see. A few hours to finalize the bets. I'm going to let you take this one away, man. Alexander Hernandez, Diego Ferreira, just so you're not saying I agree with your read. So I'll let you go first, and then I can say I agree or disagree.
Yeah, so I'll try to keep it short. I like CDF here. I didn't want to going into tape because the guy's 40, and one of the changes I've sort of tried to make lately is just getting away from betting these really old guys. But I just had to after tape, strength of schedule gap is massive, and we just know what it is with Alexander Hernandez, right? Like, if he doesn't get you out of there early and you can put a pace on him, pressure him, get him to go backwards, he wears out and he looks a bit flaky and he gets beat up and he tends to lose. And that's what Pereira does. He is 40, but he's barely a year removed from just absolutely, crushing Rebecca, who, again, has kind of been exposed as a bit of a bot lately, but regardless, I still think that's a better win and probably a harder guy to beat than Alexander Hernandez, especially because Hernandez is doing this like bullshit Factory X style where, it's a lot of movements and a lot of feints where I don't think he actually knows what that's setting up or going to achieve for him in the fight. So if you're going to do that kind of game, yeah, he might dance around and outland him early, but ultimately he's going to let CDF come forward, which, once this guy, he gets some forward momentum, he's a bit of a juggernaut. He just keeps going, keeps building, pouring on the pace, pouring on the volume. If Hearn tries to take him down, he's, CDF elite scrambler. He's going to be throwing up subs from bottom, sweeping, probably reversing him and getting on his back or something like that. So ultimately, I think CDF should be like minus 150. Could be wider, to be honest. I just don't want to get too aggressive with the cap when he's 40 years old. But minus 150 is fine to me. So I bet him minus 110. Some people got on the plus money early. I kind of regret not doing that. But yeah, Alexander Hernandez. The one thing I will say is he's better at 155 than 145. 145, getting absolutely melted versus Billy Q and losing to Damon Jackson. He does seem to not melt as badly at 155 because the cut's not draining him so much. But again, I think CDF is better than Billy Q and Damon Jackson, even at 40 years old, So yeah, I like him to take over and potentially find a late finish down the stretch, or otherwise, win a decision. So easy play for me at Pick'em. I think one guy should be favored.
Right. Yeah, pretty tape. I thought I would like Hernandez, just because of the age, man. And yeah, the guy always loses round one. I bet slight chalk against MJ, and I was just like sweating. Couldn't sniff a takedown, getting dropped. Obviously dropped by Rebecca, and then just looking a bit rough and worn out. And there was a couple of fights, the injury, loss to Gamrot. Just seems to be like a lot wrong with his body. But yeah, I'm not really interested to pick him. If I'm going to get on Ferreira, I'm just going to wait to live bet it. Traditionally Hernandez has a good round one. Like he is, as you said, lightweight is a completely different animal. He still has his faults. Like he started great against Kurt and Austin Hubbard, and he just kind of gave the fight back to Austin Hubbard, in 2 and 3 just by slimmest of margins. So I get it. But I'll just live bet it. I don't really want to get involved in this fight unless the tape says something. There's a clear edge here. Kevin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. I'll let you go on this one too. I'll just say, what's that?
Main event. This fight has the streets talking.
The people's main event. That's right. Not my main event. I could not be interested in this fight any less. The weight miss makes me kind of want to hit Dustin Stoltzfus. I know I don't really care about weigh-ins too much, but man, how else can you take that other than this guy doesn't give a shit? I watched his interview, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I think if I lose this, I might be cut." And they're like, "Oh really? I think the UFC likes you." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll see." And then he missed weight the next day, and I was like, "Man, this guy knew that he was going to get the Brian Battle treatment, win or lose. He knew he was over. That's crazy. At middleweight as well, man. That's just wild to me. 9 pounds was 9 pounds. It's fucking
5.
wild, bro. Oh, 5. That's a lot still. That's a lot.
Yeah. At middleweight when you're a welterweight.
Yeah, when you're welterweight. Yeah, I don't know, man. He has a grappling deficiency. Kevin Gastelum, he always has. He's a good wrestler, but it's also Dustin Stoltzfus, all right? It's just so stiff, so slow. So I'm not really interested. I tried fade Rosie Boy with Dustin Stoltzfus, and I just lost 10 years of my life, constantly pulling guillotine and on top mount, and then he gets flipped, and it's just man, this fight is so winnable. What are you doing? And I'm just I don't want to bet on this guy ever again. It seems like all his wins are meme, and he pulls victories out of jaws, pulls defeats out of jaws of victories.
GM3.
Yeah, GM3. It's just I don't know, man. Just not interested. What's your thoughts on the fight?
It's my main event, and I'm choosing to just enjoy it as a fan. I don't have any action on this. The weight miss means obviously you just can't lay juice on Gastelum. Although I do kind of think it's a levels fight. Just on the feet, he's so much faster. And even when, we've seen in the past, Kelvin misses weight, he's fat as shit, out of shape. The guy can still fight. He can still go 3 rounds. He can still go hard. People take that as him being unserious, but he's never shown up looking like he hasn't trained and to be honest, even if the guy has a shit camp, he's a bit of a natural. Obviously he's overachieved his whole career being fucking lazy. The guy is just talented, right? And Stoltzfus is the opposite. That guy could train hard as fuck. He's just got no talent. He's just so untalented. I understand people taking Stoltzfus. But I'm just what does it look like? He's not going to outstrike Kelvin. He's slow as fuck, hittable as anything. Gets hurt all the time. His wrestling is kind of shit, to be honest. He can't shoot doubles and singles. He needs to get behind you in a body lock and then take you down, try to take you back. Even if he gets on top, like you said, he has no ground and pound. He falls off top position. Kelvin has a deficiency on the bottom against the likes of Sean Brady, but You know, like Pfeiffer took him down, he scrambled up, and Pfeiffer's a better wrestler than Stoltzfus. Fucking enormous, way bigger athlete, and Kelvin was able to sort of make his way up there all right. So I don't know if I buy the Stoltzfus grappling path. He probably needs something opportunistic, you know, to like what happened versus Puna sort of thing, you know. And maybe that does happen, but I'm just not choosing to back it here. Totals don't interest me because I think, you know, Stoltz could meme a sub. Kelvin on the feet could absolutely punk him, and Stoltz gets hurt a lot, but at the same time, Kelvin just loves to stare at people and not finish them. So yeah, just a pass all around for me. Hopefully they cut Gastelum after this, because like having Dumas still on the roster and having Gastelum on the roster while they're cutting like actual decent guys, it's just like, it's crazy. And this guy just clearly doesn't give a fuck. So I hope Stoltzfus wins, to be honest, because he seems like a cool guy. He's just so untalented and unathletic that it's hard for me to get there. But yeah, pass for me.
Yeah, I don't really care about Gastelum's career, so if he loses and gets cut, I don't give a shit. So
how many more chances does he gonna need? He's not going to change regardless, right? So
I mean, I think he's proven. He was begging to get another chance after Daniel Rodriguez, and yeah, just there you go, just fucked it. All right,
guy's got an eating disorder, needs to go to a psychologist or something.
Yeah, he needs to go to PFL and scrap it out with Brian Battle. Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia, another fight that I'm not interested in. Let me have a look. There's actually a lot of fights that I'm not interested in on the main card, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, Jared Gordon at 37 years of age, at this much of a favorite. I get that Rafa Garcia is, despite his nickname, is not really that gifted, but maybe it's referring to something else. But yeah, I mean, he's all right. He can crack. He can swing overhand rights.
Can he crack?
Yeah, I mean, who was it that he's cracked people before? Maybe he's just a completely washed Jesse Ronson.
I remember he hurt Gritzmark. I bet Rafa KO won like plus 500 and something against Gritzmark.
Oh, that's right. He almost got him out of there.
Dropped him in round one, and then couldn't.
Yeah, that's what lost him the fight. He's got he swings bungalows, man. He's got power, but yeah, I mean, Jared's
couldn't hit the shell.
Yeah, look, I don't really care about this fight. I don't know why I'm attempting to break it down. So you tell me what you think.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like, obviously, money line's a bit steep. I think Jared Gordon's better everywhere. Although, like, it's probably like competitive everywhere. I still think Jared Gordon's quite clearly better everywhere. I don't think Garcia's going to be able to wrestle him or like meaningfully control him on the mat. And I think Gordon's like a much better striker, but it's probably just going to be competitive because Jared Gordon's not a big power guy, despite him, you know, getting a few finishes lately. I think that's why the price is maybe a bit steeper than you might have expected. But yeah, Gordon's just better everywhere to me. And yeah, he's old, but I think he seems to be like in the best form of his career, to be honest, despite his age. And personally, I don't think Garcia hits very hard. Like he swings these big hooks, but he's clunky, punchy, slow kind of guy. So I don't, think he's that powerful. Like if Jared's going in there, and I thought he beat Nasrat, but standing in, trading with a guy like Nasrat, I'm not too worried about Rafa Garcia. I think Gordon money line, although it's pretty steep, I think there might be some value there, to be honest. I think the over, again, maybe a bit steep, but I'm pretty convicted that that's hitting most of the time. But I bet Gordon decision minus 125. I think Jared Gordon is winning a decision at least 60% of the time here. Half is tough, but he does slow down. So there is risk of Gordon maybe getting him out of there late, but pretty unlikely. Half is pretty tough. That's the way. So I think if you want to bet Jared Gordon, if you want to bet the over, if you want to bet Jared Gordon decision, I think those are all fine. Yeah,
I don't mind that. That reminds me of the Gomes decision, which completely slid under the radar for me. I was like, Gomes is not losing this fight to Ruchala. And I was like, why did I not bet his decision? I didn't give a shit if it was minus money. It's like, this feels like the same, but like you said, back in the day, Gordon used to be like the biggest swamper. Like 2-3 with Jared Gordon used to be like, he used to break people, but it's kind of slowed down.
I think there's more because he used to go to wrestling and get on top of guys, but he's just happy to strike nowadays. And although he's pretty slick, man, like the guy's striking is good. He's really good in exchanges. He's just, not gifted with power or anything. So
Gordon decision is $1.77. Pretty close.
Yeah, man, I think that should be at least minus 150, $1.67 or something. skill gap's just huge here, and Rafa Garcia doesn't have like the power or the attributes to equalize for that. I don't feel.
The cardio aspect is the only concern in round 3, but yeah, he just doesn't fight that way anymore, Gordon.
No, he's a guy who's happy just winning decisions nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's fighting Thiago Moises, and he wants to get him out of there.
Moises just feels like he doesn't want to be there. Same with Mike Madsen.
All right, Rob Font, David Martinez, the Black Spartan. What do you? Yeah, there's a couple of things missing there, but what do you think of this fight?
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting one because there's like massive, insane gap in like strength of schedule and the levels these guys have been fighting. But at the same time, you understand why the movement's gone the way it did. I saw it open. I saw David Martinez as plus 170. I took that because I was like, that's going to get bet, And then since then, there's been tout action. I think that, some prominent touts have said they like David Martinez this week, and I figured they would, just on youth attributes. Rob Font, the red flags on his side. So I jumped on David Martinez, and now it's come all the way in to pick him. And here I like Rob Font. Yes, he has issues, basically the durability, but the way David Martinez fights, I don't think is really going to take advantage of that. Like, I'd be more worried about someone like Jose Aldo or Chito Vera, who's going to stand in the pocket and trade with Rob Font. That's not what Martinez wants to do. He wants to sit on the outside and kick you. That doesn't mean to say that it can't happen. Of course it can. Rob Font's been hurt by plenty of people. But ultimately, I think Rob Font is going to be able to come forward here when he wants to. And he's just going to be able to land punches. He's going to be backing Martinez up, and I think he's just going to outvolume him to a decision. Martinez will probably land off the back foot, but when you look at his UFC, and Contender Series performances, Simon Oliveira might be one of the worst to ever do it in recent years. The guy's just complete spastic, just terrible, throwing spinning back fist, flailing all over the place, and then he gets hit hard once and he just gives up. That guy's just beyond hopeless. Against Xavier Franklin, Martinez is basically able to land 100 leg kicks for free, and Franklin just did nothing. Rob Font does have issues with leg kicks, but he doesn't give them up for free. If you're leg kicking Rob Font, he's stepping in on you with the 1-2 and trying to take your head off, So, yeah, Martinez will probably get some leg kicks off on Rob Font, but it's not going to be for free. Rob Font's just not going to stand there and let you leg kick him and do nothing. And then when it comes into the pocket, David Martinez will throw hard, but he's got that kind of karate thing. When he's in the pocket, he gets very stiff, his chin's up in the air, and he's not comfortable. Although he throws hard, you can tell it's not where he wants to be. He's kind of throwing get the fuck off me and let's get back to range. Whereas Rob Font is obviously very comfortable in the pocket. It's where he lives. It's where he wants to be. Earlier, Rob Font, I would have liked a lot more because now his footwork's not as good. Like when he backs guys to the cage and they circle out, he doesn't do as good a job of tracking them as he used to. But ultimately, I think he's just going to be able to keep backing David Martinez up, landing the right hand. He still lands the right to the body as guys circle out pretty nicely. He's got that really deceptively long reach. And when he jabs, he's looking to grab that collar tie and start dirty boxing, land the uppercuts. Martinez just doesn't look comfortable enough in the pocket. He's really hittable in the pocket. Xavier Franklin was having success anytime he actually let his hands go in boxing range. So, yeah, there's red flags on the Rob Font side, but man, the levels gap, the strength of schedule gap, and stylistically, I think he's just going to be able to get the fight that he wants here and just hopefully doesn't get killed in the process. So, yeah, it's Rob Font for me at the current price.
Indeed, I do. I remember that sticking out, that massive plus 150, plus 170, whatever it was. And I'm like, I'll go to bed. It'll be right. It will still be there tomorrow. And it was 50 cents worse. It's crazy. And I'm like, wow, I wish I locked that one in instead of Neto BJJ. Bad decision making. But I just felt sick. I didn't want to tape it anymore because I didn't want to see my read being right and then missing out on that much CLV. So I just left it, and now it's a pick 'em. Now, when I do tape it, I'm hoping that I'll like Font. We'll see. But I like David Martinez. I think Martinez, he was slight chalk on Contender Series as well, and I liked it. It's he just does the right things, a good minute winner, stick and move, good volume, durable, and yeah, he will smash those leg kicks. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like his sister, who's in the UFC, but the male version, a bit more pop on his punches, a bit more pushes the pace. Like even though he's negative, there's always a volume coming back. And he's got some underrated pop on his strikes, but he's playing the point fighting game a lot rather than actually sitting down on stuff. So I think he's capable of hurting Rob Font. I think Rob Font can hurt him. I think he was dropped in the regionals, Martinez, with a head kick from memory.
Yep. And his defense is bad in the pocket.
They cut his sister this week. Wasn't she coming off a win?
That doesn't make much sense.
Didn't she knock out Elise Adeline? Or like a fake knockout, and then the ref made her go to a decision, but she rinsed her 30-27. It's interesting.
That would be really weird if they cut it.
Yeah, maybe no room for karate point fighters. But yeah, no, it's just like the only thing that's sticking out is the leg kicks might be there, but we'll see. Maybe the fight is just accurate at pick 'em, but you seem to think there's a bit of value in Font, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, and we're at the main event. Gene Silva versus Diego Lopes. Sick fight. Good thing to end it on. Like, I wasn't really interested in any of these fights, and I might not be interested from a betting perspective on this one, but it's going to be a sick fight to watch. Gene Silva, first time in a 5-rounder. And this guy's killing everyone that I thought was durable. It's just running through them. Even went up in weight class and, knocked out Drew Dober. Drew Dober has a bit of a punching bag, but so is Diego Lopes. I get why people are playing the -200 on Gene Silva or better, and some of my friends are saying they will add even more. I mean, he is the more well put together fighter. He's a bit hittable though. Like, he's fought some hard hitters before in Dober and, well, mostly Dober, Malsik Baghdasaryan. But yeah, I don't know. I think Diego Lopes doesn't have the best wrestling. Can he really go toe to toe with Gene Silva? Probably not really. So I get it, but I thought about the under. When do we get under 2.5 rounds of plus money for a Gene Silva fight? Like, the only guy he hasn't knocked out is Kevin Vallejos, and he was very close in round 1. And it can be argued that Vallejos might be the Argentinian version of Drew Dober with his chin, just the way he's. These Argentinians, man, Prado, Vallejos, Ribovics, just like might be pound for pound best chins in MMA. Even that guy that was Esposito in third episode on Contender Series that Delano beat the shit out of for 15 minutes. You just don't see chins like that in the main event. So I don't know. The under stuck out to me, but I remember I played the under 2.5 against Bryce Mitchell, and I was kind of sweating. He almost made it into round 3. He needed a ninja choke to get him out of there. So I don't know. I guess gun to my head, I would maybe play Gene Silva plus over 1.5, or maybe just his money line. I played his money line at -200 versus Bryce Mitchell, but that was a much easier click. Bryce Mitchell dropped down in weight class since. He's always looked a bit smaller. We've seen how he performed against a similar fighter in Topuria. So I'm like, Gene is just going to rinse him. He's going to stuff the takedowns and rinse him. But Diego's got a bit more hardware. He's huge as well. He's got his own power. So I'm kind of like hesitant on this fight. Potentially might have a good live bet. What do you think?
Yeah, similar thoughts, man. I like Gene Silva here. Anyone who has, sort of talked to me about fights over the years knows I'm not really a Diego Lopes guy. He's dangerous, but his game is totally disjointed, and he doesn't. He's basically just dangerous, but I don't think he's particularly skilled, especially not at the highest level. On the feet, he has power, but again, like Alessandro Costa, like Aldana, like Grasso from this gym, they're just so basic. They just put up the gloves, they sniff the gloves. If you have any idea how to just move around them and draw them into shots, it's just target practice. They can't deal with leg kicks. Yeah, we've seen it, right? Like we saw what a very ex-prime Volk did to him in his last fight. We saw what
that was so frustrating, man. Such a frustrating fight to watch.
Dan Ige on a couple of hours notice what he did to him in the 3rd round. So yeah, ultimately he's dangerous on the feet, but skill-wise, he's just so outmatched here. He just kind of swings hooks, doesn't he? Like he's not like jabbing, setting traps, and like there's not much skill, sophistication, or craft to his striking game. He's just throws hard punches. Got no wrestling, and dangerous jiu-jitsu, but kind of only if he's on the bottom. If guys try to take him down, he doesn't really have the wrestling to get on top of guys. So automatically, I think the grappling path here is not really a thing I see happening. 1, because his wrestling's not very good. 2, because he doesn't have the footwork to consistently track Gene Silva down. 3, because his striking and wrestling are disjointed. They don't work together. So then I think we're primarily looking at a striking fight here. Diego Lopes hits hard, but I mean, so does Drew Dober. Yeah, and Diego Lopes is one of the hardest punches maybe at 145. Drew Dober is one of the hardest punches at 155, and we saw Gene wear some shots from Drew Dober and fine. And, you know, if Gene gets hit, he's not particularly phased. He's just like, oh, okay. And the biggest thing about that is like he makes reads, right? He learns from it. He's like, okay, downloads, takes the information, and then uses that to just kind of keep building through the fight and finding his counters. And Diego's just one of the most counter-roll guys there is. He's just going to step into the pocket the same way, throwing the same combinations over and over and over. Gene Silva's going to be able to dance around him, feint him out, counter him, pull him into traps. And it's just a question of, does Diego take damage all the way to a decision, or does he get knocked out? And I don't really know, to be honest. Like, could be either. Gene does hit hard, but Diego is also very durable. So, you know, and chins are just a bit random, aren't they? And it's a 5-rounder, so maybe Gene starts a bit slow and doesn't put it on him until a bit later. So I'm not really into trying to like guess what's going to happen there. The only way I see this fight being playable is I quite like Gene Silva plus over 1.5, which is like near pick him, just because Gene's not generally getting guys out of there early in the fight. Diego's very durable, and also it's a 5-rounder. So if anything, it's more likely that he's going to take his time a bit more than go completely rabies and fight way faster than he normally does. So I quite like that, although I've just seen now the over 2.5 has improved to minus 145 on Bet Online. So I don't hate that too much. I think it's possible, you know, Gene slows down and maybe Diego comes back into it in the later rounds, kind of like he did with Volk, finds a moment and just, you know, off being on crazy PEDs, just finds a way to compete down the stretch. But I think Gene's just going to largely just outclass him on the feet. That's how I think it's going to go. So, yeah, I don't mind that Gene Silva and over 1.5, because then I think the KO probably comes in the mid-late rounds, or he's just going to outstrike him to a decision.
Nice. So we agree on that. I don't know. The 2.5, like, if you have a good read, that's fair. I just feel like it might be a little bit sweaty just because, yeah, there's one man that didn't. Yeah. It's going to
be target practice for Gene once he gets his reads. Like, Diego's he's a bit of a bot, man. Like, people like him, I get it. He's fun, but he's a very shallow, one-dimensional fighter on the feet.
I don't even think it would be hard to get reads, because unless he's evolved a little bit. But yeah, that Volkanovski fight, I got that baited into that playing him, because I'm like, I know how washed Volkanovski is, and, you know, 5 rounds for Lopes to catch him, and it's like he kept doing the same thing for 25 minutes, and it's like, throw a jab, man. Why? He just kept coming in and throwing an overhand right as his first punch. It's just like, what are you doing? Just throw one jab, and then throw an overhand right. And he just couldn't do it. He just refused to do it. Just kept screaming at Volk. Volk just kept sticking and moving. And bro, it's so frustrating. Like, so
that
frustrating.
Camp's full of dummies, man. It's a very, very low IQ camp.
Yeah.
They have heart, they're tough, and they'll scrap, but they have no idea how to like make adjustments mid-fight, make adjustments between fights. They all fight the same way. They're like, just be a tough Mexican and do Mexican boxing. But even then, like you said, they don't jab. They just, very, very average, very average. I think, it's kind of like a almost tailor-made matchup for Gene in a lot of ways.
All right. Well, you have a think of what 2 bets you want to give to the listeners as some locks, and I'll just have a look, because despite only having Neto BJJ, I don't really want to give that out. It doesn't feel like a good gift to the listeners. I'm going to be on the under 1.5 in the Dumas Reese, especially now that it's taken action. I remember one of the most painful things for me was playing the under in the friend fight, and he submitted him 30 seconds over. But I just think Zachary Reese is a lot more front loaded. So unlike Friend, who's just kind of patient in there. So under 1.5 there. What else? I could just give out Silva, Neto BJJ inside the distance, or doesn't go. I think that cashes in many ways. And not much else, man. I could honestly get behind Gene Silva money line. It's a bit chalky, but honestly, it just feels like how does he lose this fight? He's not losing a decision, let's be honest. Does he get finished? Maybe. I don't mind Coria as an underdog. And maybe I get behind at least Pereira. It seems a bit square, but my gut is telling me to lock her in. So she's got all the upside, like whatever. I don't know any of her, I don't know her background. Like I went on Instagram. I don't know what belt level she is. Like, is she meant to be a striker? Does she have any sort of jiu-jitsu background? Do you know?
Uh, I don't know. She kind of looks like a blue belt to me on the ground. Like,
She's from
but
Life MMA. What does that tell you?
they have some fighters. I feel like I've seen that gym name before.
Edelson Teixeira. Oh, did she train with Biggie Boy, Carlos Porty Felipe? Yeah,
Yeah,
how about
yeah.
that?
No, she's
Oh, yeah.
definitely primarily a striker. Like I think she's Brazilian, right? So she understands like the basics of jiu-jitsu, but
Hmm.
yeah. But
Nothing, nothing on her Instagram about any sort of belts. But that's all right. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Neto BJJ inside doesn't go. I like the under 1.5 as well on the Reese, and more will be added. What about you?
yeah, there's fair bit I like in terms of like what am I most convicted on? Probably Jared Gordon decision. Probably the Garul Aguilar GTD, and then yeah, like you, either Zach Reese the under or the money line. To be honest, I like them both a fair bit. But then Eldon Coria plus 300 or better. I think there's a lot of value there. Like it's not going to be my biggest bet in terms of sizing, but I think there's the most value. And okay,
she's a white belt with 4 stripes,
good for her. And
but
she'll
that's
probably
2 years
still be
ago.
moved on.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago. So unless she's leveling up at the speed of Big Steve, then she should be a blue belt by now.
Yeah, I think so. When it comes to that fight, it's just she's athletic, man. Like
Yeah,
Rendon's
she just has
reliable.
to. She just has to get up. She just has to get up.
She's a big, strong lump, Rendon. But like, if this Pereira girl, she knows, she understands how to dig an underhook, and that's probably all it takes, to be honest. Like she's not out grappling Daria. Like Daria is the white belt of the white
Yeah,
belt, and
that's
Pereira
pathetic.
is like on par or better athletically than Daria, in my opinion. And then if you're only eking out a split over Vidal, who's like the easiest girl to get on top of, and is looking for the door past round 1, then it's not impossible, but it's she can't be the side, in my opinion.
Man, Vidal will literally drop down for knee bars. You don't even have to take her down.
He was going for guillotines, going for leg locks. Like, yeah, she's the worst.
Like, she looks a bit
And I
jacked
bet
pretty
Rendon
on.
there.
Oh, he did. Fuck,
Yeah, I
sweat.
think the athleticism is big me here, man, because that's what Rendon relies on. Like, she's not shooting like proper good doubles or singles. She's just pushing into a body lock and then just using her size and strength to kind of like muscle goes down. And Daria just has no clue. Like, as soon as someone ties up with her, she's looking at her corner being like, what do I do? Like, she has to be coached through like where to put her hand and do this, and every exchange she just doesn't know anything, and she still beat her.
Do you have any locks for the big, huge boxing card tomorrow, or any regionals? I know you said regionals were crap, but just thought I'd check.
I like Orlando Preens on Cage Warriors, but the price kind of gone now. It's like minus 200. I bet it like around minus 160-ish. Maybe there's still value there because I think there's a good chip. Like Fisher's been retired for over 2 years. He's only fighting because it's in his hometown. And I think Cage Warriors would have been like, hey, you want to fight? And they know he'll sell tickets. If this card wasn't in Newcastle, he wouldn't be fighting. And also just stylistically, like Preens, if you can like pressure him on the feet and back him up, you can kind of melt him. Fisher's just a punching bag, and he can't really grapple, get takedowns anymore. I think Preens' takedown defense is actually decent, and he can like sweep and get up off bottom. So I quite like that one. Other spots, like I was maybe looking at fading Reese McEwen, but it's a bit like, don't know, could be a levels fight. Kia Harvey, maybe some value, but it's a bit steep for what might be a bit of a mirror matchup. And then, yeah, Octagon, ACA, Aries will just look shit to me. So not too interested. In terms of the boxing, I'll probably tail some of the stuff that you guys are talking about, but one that I quite liked, which I found was like no knockdowns in Canelo versus Bud. It's like minus 160 or something for no knockdowns. Both guys just insanely durable.
I think it's worse than that, honestly. I think it's quite juiced. Like someone mentioned it yesterday. Unless,
yeah,
like
it
it should
tends to
be.
be like it tends to be a big spread across books on those sort of props. So if you have a good look around, you might be able to find something.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But in terms, otherwise, like I'll tell people just to watch the pod you guys did. I kind of like him, Billy, just because Martinez, he's dangerous early, but he slows down so bad and wears out, and Billy's going to push crazy pace. I know you're thinking about the under there, and I think that makes sense as well. I wouldn't.
I'll bail on that under. I think it's going to be a frustrating brawl where no one gets knocked out.
Yeah, I kind of like it's in Billy money line is probably the one I'd get to. I wanted to bet Crawford, but the weight jump's just too big. I can't do it.
Do you think there's going to be one knockdown in Billy fight?
Probably, yeah.
I can't believe how the guy has never been knocked down. I've seen him
that's crazy.
He like falls down and then his glove, he shoots back up before his glove touches the ground. I've seen that like 2 times, and then Lester got dropped like 4 times in the Santana fight, but never been knocked down since. So it's just hard to get a gauge. Like, obviously, he hasn't really fought any good guys, and Billy's fought much better guys. So
yeah, better level of comp, and dude, the motor and the cardio difference. Like Lester when he fought this other guy who's fighting Santana or whatever. Like, dude, that was bad. That was really ugly.
Yeah, that's the guy that dropped him like 4 times. He's on the same card. He's fighting Nelson on the same card.
Yeah. No, I think Nelson pumps him. Like, I think Nelson's actually a fine parlay piece, to be honest. I reckon Nelson runs through him. Nelson KO, if you can get a decent price on like a late Nelson KO, I don't think that's too bad. And then I looked at the Ishmael fight, and I kind of like Ishmael, but then I was like, oh, this other guy's just such a weasel, and he's fighting at home. I think I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. I think that's enough. We'll call it a day. Almost an hour and 30 minutes. Thank you very much. You got anything else to add?
Nope, all good.
Hopefully Canelo cashes tomorrow. And
oh, you bet Canelo?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I gave it out on the pod. I bet it on the pod. I just like a.
Okay. Makes sense.
Don't overthink.
Was it 14?
It seems a bit square. Like,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's just like I don't overthink it. Like, the price is a bit shit. But it's like, is Bud really gonna? I don't know. From my tape, I'm just like, Bud is dropping a lot of rounds, and then he usually gets a late round KO over these guys. Like, if that doesn't happen here, like, is he gonna get more than 50% of the rounds clear versus Canelo? I mean, some people think he will, but not to me.
If there's an A side, I think it's Canelo as well. Like, I think if there's like swing rounds, the judges are going to go Canelo's way. So if they were naturally the same weight, I would probably bet Bud at this price. Like, I just think, he can give Canelo some problems, but the 2 weight classes is big. And then, I think Canelo's probably the A side as well. So that's the most important thing in boxing as well. Shit is corrupt.
I mean, I won't be shocked if it loses. It will just feel like some weird boxing result, to be honest. Or just Bud showing that he's like the best ever to ever do it. But it is what it is. No worries, boss. Thanks for doing that. It's been a while, especially because we've just been doing Dana White Contender Series rubbish. It's good to do a whole card.
Yeah, fuck that. I hate Contender Series.
I might hit up my original guest, because he said halfway through the season he should be available. So I'll spare you. I'll spare you and Dogfather, because he also hates it. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Everyone hates breaking down.
I'm shit at it as well. So let somebody who knows what they're talking about come on, and I'll stick to what I know.
Yeah, I might even skip a couple, because it's just brutal doing so many pods every week. All right, man. Thanks for listening. Good luck tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Peace out.